great topic I want to talk about. It's, kind of a different take on a topic that I've been kind of sharing about, but it's a great story. I want to share it with you, of course. I like to share stories that people tell me and opportunities that they have to bless somebody and to really reach out and change somebody's life through the course of a conversation, or even just a handshake or just a fellowship. So we're gonna talk about today's weather. Man, it was chilly out there today. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Hey, yeah, I'm not ready for this. I'm ready for some more summer. I don't know about you guys. I am definitely a summer guy. I love summer more than anything. People say, hey, there we go. Hey, there we go. I'll just put it right here. People say, hello guys. How you doing out there, Facebook land? Thanks for tuning in. You can also tune in on www.rfu.net or on 104.5 or here on Facebook Live. Sorry for the echo of me in the background. That's a pre-recorded show that I put on just in case I'm not able to make the live show, so I hope it's not too distracting. But nonetheless, we're going to go ahead and get started. Glad I could be with you today. And apparently the internet is... Man, somebody does not want me to share this story today. Craziness. But I'm going to share it anyway. So I'm going to try to see if I can do something here. So, yeah, once again, I hope you guys' day is going good. Mine was good. Mine was pretty easy. Nice, easy finish to the week. I always love that. Getting ready for Thanksgiving next weekend. My wife and I are going to go out and do some Thanksgiving shopping, which I'm always excited about because she undoubtedly, and I know people are going to say, oh, well, you're a little biased, but I do believe she makes the best Thanksgiving dinner this side of heaven. I love it. I get full beyond recognition every Thanksgiving. I never walk away from the table hungry for several days afterwards, which is phenomenal for me because I sure do like to eat turkey. I'm really thankful this year that I'm going to be able to taste it. Back in April, when I was struggling with my taste buds and things weren't going so well, I was a little nervous about the holidays because if anybody who knows me that I love the holidays. I love this time of year. It just seems like it's just like the soul inside of us can't resist, the acts of kindness in this type of year. It's just amazing how Thanksgiving and Christmas season just seem to bring out that momentary season of giving and caring for one another, which obviously should last throughout the entire year, but sometimes it doesn't in certain situations. But I do believe around this time of year, it absolutely just I don't know why that other commercial is playing on here. Anyway, ignore that. Listen to me. So anyway, yeah, I just love it. I just love how people, it's like they intentionally try to be kind to one another, and it's just great to see that. All right, we're gonna cancel the live video and we're gonna try to do it again. So anyway, people say, hello guys, how you doing? Hey, it's me talking. Thanks for tuning in. You can also tune in on www.rfu.net. It is me talking, but that's not what I want to do. And apparently somebody's playing Christmas music. We have Christmas music in the background. I love it. I love Christmas music. once again, I'm a choir kind of guy. I'm an old school
Nonetheless, we're going to go ahead and get
church
People,
church hymns. I like Hark the Herald Angels sing. All
Thanks
the
for
old
tuning in.
German hymns, I
You can
love
also
them.
tune in on www.rfu.net or on 104.5.
Hey, there we go. Now let's try it again. Alright, let's see if this works. So anyway, I don't know how to get that background music off. I hope it's not too distracting. But anyway, we're going to start with the show for the fourth time. And we're going to actually start with I'm going to read one of my favorite passages in the Bible again. It's just the one that I really try. It's really one of my life verses. It's one that I try to really focus on when I'm out trying to meet new people and just try to touch base with them and see how life is going and just, hey, there we go. Now we're live. Hey, all right. And try to build relationships with people. I really try to use this verse here as a ground stick, as a yardstick to try to measure what I can do for them in their lives. And because one day God came into my life and saw a need in my life. I was definitely one of the least of these in His eyes. And He came to me one day and he filled a need for me and He picked me up and He put me on a road, on a journey that's just been wonderful ever since. Even through the cancer season, it's just been a joy to be able to walk with God and just look back and see all of the different opportunities that He's been able to bless me with. Meeting different people and hanging out with them, especially I talk about See You at Home a lot on here. I really love those guys over there. Like I said, I had Rob here last week, which was fantastic. Man, I can't wait to have him back on again. I feel kind of lonely over here, but it's okay. They'll come back on. I do have confirmation that my friend Terry said, I'm all for it. So Terry, I'm saying to you soon, we're going to be in the chair in here. Hopefully, like I said, we can get Tony in here and Rob in here and maybe Bailey and some other people from See You at Home. We can just do kind of a round table and just really dive in what it means to help somebody, and not just help them in a superficial way, but help them in a soul way, help them in a way that changes their life completely. That there's not one aspect of their life that isn't completely changed. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the story that I want to share with you. It's actually off of their homepage, their newsletter that they put out. And if you want to check it out, you can always go on Facebook and go over and check them out on Facebook at See You at Home. On Facebook, you can like them. And then you can just follow their stories. They put their newsletter on there. They put their weekly prayer list on there, what they're praying for, the praises that they get every week. It's just a fantastic way to keep in touch with such a phenomenal organization that's really doing something to try to change lives in our community, and not just temporarily changing them, but changing them for permanently, and giving them a path to walk on and opportunities to stay on that path and not just point them in the right direction. We are very easy to point people in the right direction and say, there's where you can get help, or over there you can get help, or over here you can get help. But these guys over there will take you to where you need help. I was talking to my friend Terry, and I'm going to share this with y'all last night. I asked Terry yesterday, I said, so how'd your day go yesterday? He said, well, we got up early. And I'm like, yeah, how early did you get up? coming from a guy that gets up at 4:45 in the morning. But they got up early. And he said, yeah, I took a guy to Bloomington for detox, came back, took a guy to Peoria for detox, came back, worked here at the Phoenix, and then stayed after to keep the doors open for anybody who wanted to come in and have prayer time from 5:30 to 6:30. Now, I'm telling you, that's a guy who gets it. That's an organization that gets it. They're there at a moment's notice. Was it tiring? I'm sure that it was. You know, outreach is very tiring and wearisome. I'm sure Jesus grew tired of walking and ministering and had to rest, but just the sheer excitement of having that opportunity to change somebody's lives for the good, I'm sure it just encouraged Jesus immensely. You know, and then we come to the story in Matthew 25 actually, and I'm going to begin in verse 34. This is one of the great stories that I just love to share, and I love to try to live out, and I try to walk out. And I use these verses a lot when there's skepticism. When people come along and say, well, you know, they're not really homeless, you know, they got cell phones and they got this and that and the other, you know. But that doesn't matter. These verses right here doesn't speak anything about a cell phone. These verses here don't speak about any, it doesn't say those who have nothing. You know, it just talks about those, the least of these. Beginning in verse 34, it says, then the king will say to those on his right, come, you who are blessed by my Father, take your inheritance, the kingdom prepared for you since the creation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. I needed clothes, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you looked after me. I was in prison, and you came to me. Now, this is the greatest part of the whole story. This is a moment for me where it's like when I see guys doing this, and I share this verse with them, and they don't even realize they're living out this verse, and they just think that they're just being helpful to the person, and what it really means when you give something to somebody who has nothing or has a need. These next verses really just kind of wrecks people, because it makes them realize that their acts of kindness towards somebody, helping somebody else, is doing a far greater work in us than it is in them. Then the righteous will answer him, Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you something to drink? When did we see you a stranger and invite you in, or needing clothes and clothed you? When did we see you sick or in prison and go to visit you? Now, the righteous are probably thinking back on their life in these moments, and we're probably expecting to see actual Jesus standing there, like Jesus, you know. They were actually helping Jesus, and they were, but it was actually the image of Jesus in his created beings that we were actually helping. And in fact, when we stand there and we live out these verses, the people that we're living out these verses, I'm not saying that we personally are God by any means, but that image and that vision and that love of God pours through us, so that they actually get to tangibly see through proxy, through us, what God looks like when he's reaching down and reaching out to help us. You know, it's all God doing it all. We're just vessels and tools that God is using to help change and truly transform somebody's life. So then the king, who is Jesus, replied, truly I tell you, when you did this for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, and yes, Jesus calls us his brothers and sisters, which is phenomenal. The all living, all powerful God of the universe who created everything calls us brothers and sisters, which is like the dearest parts of the family that you can get close to. I mean, brothers and sisters are joined for life. I mean, they're always going to be your brother and sister. There may be squabbles, there may be times of separation, but they're always going to be brother and sister. So it's just very, very cool that Jesus uses those terms, brothers and sisters of mine. You did for me. You didn't do it for your own self. You didn't do it for their sake. You did it for me. And it's just powerful to think that when you're doing something for somebody and you're clothing them and you're seeing their needs met in their lives, you're doing it for Jesus. You're doing it to bless him. He's excited about that. He loves it. I just know he just loves charity. He loves when people reach out and do something for somebody who is struggling. Loves it. Absolutely no doubt in my mind about that. So that brings us to the November issue of See You at Home's newsletter, which is phenomenal. I read through it today. It's a lot of great articles. You know, it talks about the Phoenix, which is awesome. Talks about One Winter Night, which I'm really excited about. February 2nd. Don't forget to mark it down on your calendar if you're interested. Also, you can check that out at seeyouathome.us. If I'm right, correct me. If I'm wrong, you guys can correct me on Facebook or shoot me a text. But there's a lot of just a great information in there about what the event's about, what it's geared for, what the vision of the event is, and it just seems to grow more and more every year. And like I was talking with Rob, it's just exciting to see the younger generations getting excited about reaching out, because when you teach them young that one of their primary goals in life, callings in life, is to bless others, and when they truly get that, it's exciting. I think of my friend Jonathan, young guy at church. Man, this guy is phenomenal. I told him Sunday, I said, don't let anybody ever tell you or make you forget that you are a mighty man of God. This guy got it. He started volunteering as a guest service member, a greeter, fell in love with it. Now he's serving communion, and now he's just looking for every opportunity he can to serve somebody in the church. Phenomenal. And all just because he saw somebody else displaying that for him. He saw Jesus in somebody else working in somebody else's life. And it's a domino effect. You know, that's how the church is built. You know, the church went out, the apostles talked to people, their lives were changed. They went and talked to other people, their lives were changed, and so on and so on and so on. And it's just a big domino effect. So when we live by example and live out these verses in Matthew 25, I truly believe that great change can happen in our neighborhoods, in our homes, in our communities, in this nation, in this world. Lives can be truly changed for the better if we come to the mentality, if we come to the table of a relationship with the mindset that, okay, I see an empty plate before them, how can I fill that up? What can I make? What can I do that's going to be able to satisfy them and encourage them and fill them and feed them with the Word of God? So in the newsletter, See You at Home's newsletter, there's just a fantastic story. Man, I love my brother Terry. Man, Terry, you are phenomenal. And I just love that we shared the story, that we talked about it. And I'm going to read the story in its entirety. And it's just, I'm going to read the Q&A answers. It was just heartbreaking to me. But yet, it was just fantastic to see a man's life changed through the persistence of a man living out Matthew 25. Seeing a need and not saying, well, I hope one day you get to detox. Or well, I could tell you where a good detox is. He didn't even take him to the Greyhound. He didn't even take him to Amtrak. He didn't even offer to buy him a ticket. He says, you know what? If you're ready to go, my car's running. And the guy finally said, I'm ready. So I'm going to share this story with you. His name is Mike. It was written by Bailey Porter, one of the guys, one of the people over at See You at Home. She's fantastic. I got to meet her at an event. Well, not meet her, but I've met her already. But she's just phenomenal. They're all phenomenal over there. If you get a chance, just go to the Phoenix. They're open Tuesdays through Fridays. I'm going to give them a little plug here. Tuesdays through Fridays, 12 to 5. Every rain, sleet, snow, shine, summer, winter, fall, whatever. They're out there. The doors are open. Anybody can walk through that door and ask for help. And guess what? They're going to get help. They're going to get help. If those guys that See You at Home can't do it, I can guarantee you they're going to work tirelessly until they can find an avenue or a place that can address the need in that person's life. They're just not going to say, well, come back tomorrow and we'll see if we can figure something out for you. They're going to take care of it now. That's their mentality, is let's take care of this now. You ready to go? Let's strike while the iron's hot. And just do it. That's what Jesus did. Jesus saw blind people and lepers. He didn't say, come back tomorrow and I'll see if your faith is still strong tomorrow. He said, let's go get some mud. Let's go get some dirt. Let's put your eyes right. You know, let me touch you. Let me hold you. Let me hug you. Let me heal you right now. He didn't wait. He did it right now. And that's what we got to do. When we see a need, it's got to, especially in this time of Thanksgiving and Christmas, it just seems like such of a waste of a season for me if we just focus on, you know, the guy in the red suit or gifts, which is great, which is wonderful, but to really truly understand the true meaning of the season. And not only do we celebrate a birth, but we celebrate a life given to charity, a life given to complete submission to walking out a calling in his life to reach as many people as he could. And it was just crazy. It's just crazy to me that one guy so many thousands of years ago went and healed somebody, so that person would heal somebody, would witness to somebody, who in turn would witness to somebody, who in turn would witness to somebody, down the line, who ended up witnessing to my friend Sam, who ended up witnessing to me, who ended up helping me to change my life, because he saw that I had a need in my life. He saw that there was a huge hole in my life, and that he knew the only person that could fill it was Jesus, because somebody had told him that the only way to fill the need in his life was Jesus. They saw a need in his life and they fed him. They clothed him. They went and visited him when he was sick. They went and visited him when he was in the prison of his sin, and brought him out. And in turn, he turned around and looked for other people, and he found me. And he brought me out. So this story here is just the same way. My friend Terry, rescued from his life, and now he's turned around and he's trying to rescue other people. You know, he's diligently doing that. he just gets excited about when he talks about how he's just been able to take somebody to detox, and he knows they're gonna make it, and it's just exciting. It just pumps him up. He's like, I want to go find somebody else, because it's just that rush of excitement of joy and love and God's power in you that the soul just leaps. It's like the story of Elizabeth when Mary went to visit her cousin Elizabeth, and Elizabeth was the mother of John the Baptist. And even in Elizabeth's womb, when Jesus got near, John the Baptist jumped. He moved. He knew Jesus was near, even in her womb. So that's just exciting when you know that the presence of God is near and that He's truly, tangibly working in a situation. You just feel that excitement. You can feel your fingertips tingling. It's like, oh my gosh, it's just exciting. It's like a little taste. I think He gives us a little zap of what just the power and the radiance and the excitement we're going to feel when we're actually standing in the presence of God for all eternity. I can't even begin to imagine what that's going to be like. Oh my gosh. Whew. I mean, you talk about getting jolted. Whew. Man. And then you get to hear those great words. Well done, good and faithful servant. Which I know these guys over here at See You at Home, when they all stand before the Master, before God, each and every one of them is going to hear that. And hear it with just such a joy in Jesus' heart and in His mouth, and just excitement. I mean, I can't even fathom it. It's just crazy. So anyway, back to the story before we run out of time here. It's called, the article is called Taking Steps Forward. It's by Bailey Porter, and it begins, I remember that day clearly. It was dreary and miserable outside, the kind that makes you just want to pull up the covers back over your head. As I began turning on the lights and checking our phone messages, I saw Mike walk up to the front door. He was supposed to have met Terry the day before, but I let him in. He was wet, cold, and shaking. His sleeping bag was so drenched from staying outside in the park the night before that it created a puddle on the table. After connecting with Terry over the phone about Mike, I walked out of the office to go see if I could do anything. I proceeded to find some dry clothing for him, once again Matthew 25, and put on a pot of hot coffee, Matthew 25. That's definitely in there. Thirsty. Jesus was absolutely referring to coffee. I believe that in my heart of hearts. I'm sticking with that. He shook his head continuously, saying, man, I can't do this anymore. Something has got to change. Matthew 25. The least of these. Mike was the least of these. He had nothing. He didn't even have hope. He didn't have anything. All he had was wet clothes and a wet sleeping bag. But out of that wet clothes and the wet sleeping bag came a change so monumental that it's all God. It's all God, and I love this story.